anywhere from $25 to $100, and that's not a lot of money.
Commander Ronald Holt is in charge of CAPS, a special unit of the Chicago Police Department tasked with improving relations between officers and the communities they serve.
You have at least 200 million firearms that are available in the United States of America right now. That's almost one per American citizen.
Holt says no city in the United States seizes more illegal firearms than Chicago, 6 times as many each year than the much larger city of New York.
That painting, that's a picture of Blair. That was his 8th grade graduation picture.
A tragic indication of just how many people the gun violence in Chicago touches. Commander Holt's own son Blair was gunned down in 2007 while riding a city bus home from school. A 16-year-old gang member ran on board and shot wildly into the crowded bus. 5 young people were shot. Blair, seen here in a home video, died later that night in the hospital.
There's hundreds of Blairs in this city, teenagers, kids.
You see, I was out there. I wasn't even trying.
Whose lives should have never been taken.
There's more people being shot here than in Afghanistan, and we call that a war, or in Iraq, we call that a war. So why would we not call this a war? Until we deal with the issues, and until we provide options for these brothers out here in the street, you are going to continue to see violence, outrage, and anger, and it's going to get worse, not better.
Father Michael Flager is a Catholic priest of a mostly black congregation on the south side of Chicago.
With peace that surpasses all understanding. He said, I come to bring life more abundantly. I am what you need.
Father Flager lost an adopted child to gun violence and has become a well-known spokesperson around the issues of poverty and the proliferation of guns on the streets of Chicago.
Last weekend, 7 people were murdered. 46 were shot. Last night, 7 were shot. We have 0 tolerance for shooting or killing. 0 tolerance for shooting or killing.
As long as I've been here in communities like this, I've had seen the same issues: poor schools, high unemployment, lack of resources, poverty. What I have seen, though, is an enormous proliferation of guns that I did not used to see.
You will arrive at your destination on the right in 300 yards.
We've only been driving for about, 10, 15 minutes? And we're already where you can buy a gun.
Exactly. We came from 79th and Racine, so we're already here.
Chicago has some of the strictest gun laws in the country, but Chuck's gun shop, located just outside the city limits, is immune to those regulations.
So this is it right here?
This Chuck's gun shop.
And the closest place to legally purchase firearms.
This place is selling guns that's taking our children's lives. You hear when they do find the guns, a lot of them come from Chuck's.
Chuck's became a target for anti-gun activists when a report from the University of Chicago Crime Lab revealed that 1 out of 4 firearms used in crimes inside the city limits of Chicago in the last 5 years were originally bought from Chuck's.
There's a genocide going on in our community, in our city, and in our country. And guns are the main killer of our children.
For Father Flager, Chuck's gun shop has become a symbol for the powerful gun lobby in the U.S. that resists any firearm restrictions at the federal level. If surrounding towns and states are allowed to have lenient gun laws, he says, the stricter ones, passed by a city like Chicago, are rendered almost meaningless.
It is amazing to me that the NRA and gun manufacturers and gun shops continue to make money off of this carnage out here and could care less about it because it doesn't hit their house or their family.
Father Flager is a guy who has a mission. I think he had a son or stepson or somebody killed during a drug deal, and he had this typical victim's attitude. One of the things I think he seeks is notoriety, and so this gives him notoriety.
Richard Pearson, the state's leading gun rights advocate and the executive director of the Illinois State Rifle Association, said that Chuck's gun shop has not broken any laws, and that the activists should be lobbying for less restrictions on guns so that law-abiding citizens can protect themselves.
The firearm is the end tool. It's not the cause of it. But violence comes from long before they ever put their hand on a gun. You know, violence comes from poor upbringing. It comes from low moral values. It comes from no regard for your fellow human beings.
You know, that they would fight nationally and locally. Simple stuff as registration, you know, just titling a gun the same way you do a car, or just background checks. They would fight something as simple as that. They care about one thing: money. Money in their pockets. And the hell with these babies out here.
How long do you think that revolver's been on the street?
About 5 years.
It looks older than that.
Ain't no telling where it came from before we got it.
For such strict gun laws in Illinois, there's a hell of a lot of guns.
Man, these people know what they doing, man. It ain't hard to get that. There's a lot of money in people killing each other.
And I guess that's when we can say that's the government fault, huh? They shouldn't be over here that easy, huh?
Virtually every case that we do, we seize weapons. A gun is not a disposable toy. Some of these guns are 60, 70 years old that have gone from one criminal to another. If we were to eliminate the production and importation of guns in the United States today, we would likely be dealing with gun violence for the next 30 or 40 years, simply for the fact of the amount of weapons that are currently on the street.
All these killings, I'm just fortunate that my grandson didn't die, you know. But there's so many that came behind him that did die.
For every kid who is killed by gunfire in Chicago, 5 times as many are shot and survive. 17-year-old Danny Gilmore had his life tragically altered forever when on his way to school, he was struck by a bullet intended for a gang member standing nearby.
It's the equipment I gotta use for the midline. I don't know what this is. It won't keep all the stuff sensitive. My blood might get infected or something, they might amputate my arm. Shouldn't have to do all this stuff. Just get my clothes on.
You know, this is supposed to be the land of the free, and you're not free. Anytime you can't walk somewhere and worry about if you're gonna get shot or not.
If you are here today to declare that the shootings must cease, let me hear you say ceasefire! Ceasefire! Blow your horn for ceasefire!
One homicide is too many. Right. 500 homicides last year, unacceptable. We should be out in these communities in big numbers every weekend.
Ceasefire! Ceasefire!
With gun violence continuing to plague the south and west sides of Chicago, and many residents expressing a growing frustration with the police to address it, a group of street warriors called Ceasefire has stepped in claiming they know best how to stop the violence.
If you see kids out here with guns and if you can take that gun from them, do so.
Ceasefire employs what they call violence interrupters, ex-gang members, many of them convicted felons, utilizing their old contacts within the gangs to investigate brewing conflicts on the streets and try to mediate those conflicts before they erupt into violence.
I appreciate you taking that gun from that little brother, man. You most definitely saved some lives from doing that.
I'm the guy that created the Violence Interrupters in 2004.
Stop the killing!
Tio Hardiman grew up in a tough housing project on the south side of Chicago before eventually earning a master's degree from Northeastern University and creating the Ceasefire Violence Interrupters.
Violence Interrupters are like a specialty unit, ex-convicts. They understand the mindset of the high-risk individuals that we're dealing with. They have to have influence to have them guys to put their guns down.
I've been going to jail since I was, 12 years old.
One of those violence interrupters with influence, seen here counseling young gang members, is Derek Shotgun Brown, a former chief of the notorious Vice Lord street gang.
Getting shot, man, for stupidity, man. That's how we live in the community, man. It's crazy.
Last summer, Ceasefire received a controversial pat on the back from Mayor Rahm Emanuel in the form of a $1 million grant to hire more violence interrupters.
It's absolutely ridiculous. You know, the city's talking about not hiring more police officers, yet they'll give $1 million to some group of felons. It's all about politics. It's Rahm Emanuel caving to the pressures of the West and South Side ministers.
So you all know we work with ceasefire, so you know we work with people that used to be what?
They used to be...
They used to be what? They used to be gang bangers. Some of the most notorious gangs in Chicago worked for me in Derrick.
With the government grant, Reverend Hood, a prominent minister, and Derrick Shotgun Brown, a former gang leader, were brought in to lead the ceasefire West Lawndale branch.
We got Martin Murph, served 17 years in prison for murder. We have Jack Bobo, Wayne Edwards. He was one of the #1 top drug dealers in the city of Chicago. Lil Matt went to prison for 17 years. And by him coming home for the murder, the streets know him, so it's easy for him to get in.
And he's respected because he murdered somebody?
Murder is a trophy. The community never forget those type of guys.
Glad it's somebody that's at least standing up and care about us, man.
Day and night, you can find ceasefire violence interrupters canvassing street corners throughout the south and west sides of Chicago. These are forgotten neighborhoods. The only thing more common here than the violence is the poverty, among the highest rate for African Americans in the entire nation.
The houses that the X is on, they put an X on it because they doomed for demolition, they unsafe, or they've been selling drugs up out of them and the city has shut it down. Some people over there right now, they scavenging anything that they can salvage to, buy drugs with. Did y'all do homework after school?
Yeah, I did work.
This is a shrine where somebody had Jack killed. They celebrating it, and we gotta raise our kids to adapt to this. This is not acceptable. This is not normal.
Inside Shotgun's home, his kids are safe from the dangerous streets outside.
Who wants some salad?
And he's able to provide the kind of normalcy for them that he never had growing up.
What y'all watching? Home Alone 3? It saves a lot of money. My father ended up leaving when I had got about 3, probably going on 4. He was from the streets. And one day he ended up killing somebody and had to flee, running from the police. Ended up being a product of my environment. I was accustomed to jail, accustomed to the life. My older kids, they actually witnessed that life. They hear what the people call me.
Shotgun.
Right, and this is Derrick. We not accepting nothing but greatness coming from Derrick, right?
After Shotgun puts his own kids to bed, he often finds himself back on the street dealing with other people's.
You always hear sirens around here?
All the time, that's a norm. Then I count bullets too, so our ears trained.
Tonight, he is looking to talk to a 17-year-old gang member named Dakari Johnson.
Dakari, you gonna watch the fight tomorrow?
Dakari has been shot an astonishing 6 times, most recently on this very porch. Dakari lives in constant fear for his life.
That kid been shot 6 times. He has all 10 toes in the game right now. So with the game comes killed or be killed.
Afraid of being overheard on the streets talking about his troubles with a rival gang, Dakari agrees to come speak with Shotgun the following afternoon in the ceasefire office. In the meantime, Reverend Hood went looking for the boy's mother.
Dakari is a kid on the edge. He's a nice guy. He just went down the wrong road. That's Dakari's mother.